What's good, YouTube? Listen, you are what you do, not what you say you will do. Okay? Let me repeat that. You are what you do, not what you say you will do. This video is about that message. But before I start, this video is sponsored by Aura. Listen, identity theft is at an all-time high. People are getting their credit stolen, they're getting their identity stolen, they're getting their sensitive information stolen. People's computers are being hacked, their bank accounts are being infiltrated. People are out here getting their scam on. It's serious. If you're not protecting yourself, your devices, your computers, or your bank accounts, you're tripping, man. Especially when identity theft protection is so cheap. You can protect your accounts and devices and your credit and your social security number for so much cheaper than you think. You can even try it 2 weeks for free. I would if I was you. I've been hacked, I've been scammed, I've had my identity stolen before, and I can tell you it's no fun. For that little bit of money you save and not getting protection, it's definitely not worth the big money that you could end up spending trying to figure out how to get your life back in order if somebody stole something from you using your identity. It's just not worth it. So if you're interested in protecting your identity or at least trying out Aura for 2 weeks for free, click the link below. At least try it for free. Now to this topic. Again, you are what you do, not what you say you will do. I have a lot of clients who have dead-end relationships, traumatic relationships, toxic relationships that they've engaged in with men who have used them, who have abused them, men who haven't necessarily given them what they wanted, but have been elusive about why and what might come in the future of these relationships. I know a lot of women who are very, very fed up with what they're getting from relationships, making no assumption that those women are perfect, but being misled and being manipulated and being in misalignment with someone that you are trying to love and you are trying to start a relationship and potentially a future with can be very frustrating. And so as I talk to these women and as I discover more and more about these women that I meet and that I have as clients, what I'm realizing is, and what I've always realized is, people have trouble walking away. People won't say goodbye. People won't accept no for an answer. Unfortunately, the more a woman is denied what she actually wants from a man, the longer she stays and the more she solidifies herself and cements herself into a relationship, right? When you get on the phone with a person like me, a dating coach, a friend, a family member who cares about you, obviously you have to make it make sense. You have to make it sound good. So you tell us all about what you want to do, what you will do, what you won't put up with, this, that, and the other. The problem is this. Complaining isn't walking away. Making plans isn't walking away. Begging isn't walking away. Telling it so it sounds good to me on the phone isn't walking away. Taking shit isn't walking away. Crying isn't walking away. Begging isn't walking away. Spying on that man isn't walking away. Checking his phone all the time isn't walking away. Showing up at his house unannounced. Parking down the street and watching his front door isn't walking away. If you are not willing to walk away from a person, then you become the traumatizer. You become your abuser. Because most of the trauma and most of the real stuff that people go through that creates the big damage in their lives, most of that stuff happens beyond the point that they should have walked away. If you had just walking away when it was time to walk away, instead of lingering, instead of staying, instead of holding on to something that was already dead, you wouldn't have been as traumatized. You wouldn't have been as hurt. You wouldn't have been as beat down now had you did the right thing for you, had you protected you sooner. I meet a lot of women who have very toxic relationships with men, and they come to me and they say, I don't trust men, I don't trust myself, I don't trust this, I don't trust that. I don't know if I could go on, I don't know if I could date again. And then when I ask them about what happened, 90% of the things that did the most damage to them happened after the point that they already had enough of a solid reason to walk away. Their reasoning was already there. Their willingness wasn't. They kept saying they were going to walk away. They kept saying they were going to quit. They kept saying they were going to disappear and cut that person out of their lives, but they didn't. And at that point, they were traumatized in new ways that they were shocked by, that they hadn't imagined before. They were hurt in ways that they couldn't have fathomed before that point. Lingering and staying too long is much more damaging than whatever that person is doing to you ultimately, because you allow them to do it over and over and over again. A perpetual state of traumatization, a perpetual state of being damaged, a cyclical traumatic event over and over again is what causes the long-term damage. If a person punches you in the face and you get the hell away from them or you hit them back, you're not necessarily going to be traumatized. But if somebody punches you in the face and you forgive them and you turn the other cheek and you come back and they punch you in the face again and you run that cycle a few times, you are going to exhibit behaviors of someone who's been abused. If you allow somebody to steal from you once, Yeah, it sucks. No one likes it. But if you get away from that person, they can't do it again. You don't start to feel like everyone around you wants to steal. But if every day you let someone steal from you and steal from you and steal from you and steal from you, and all you do is beg and moan and plead and grovel to them to stop and they don't, ultimately you learn that your voice, what you want, doesn't matter. Respect for yourself doesn't matter. You learn that you're not a valuable person, your opinions aren't valuable, your feelings aren't valuable, and that you don't deserve any more respect than you're getting from that person, right? It conditions you for disrespect. It conditions you to be traumatized and accept trauma when there are other options, when you can leave, when you can walk away, when you can cut a person out of your life. Some of you have trained yourselves to be abused mentally and emotionally through enduring it over and over again, like it was a part of your job as a partner or a spouse. You wonder why you feel so triggered by peace. You wonder why you're so bored by it. You wonder why you only respond to the certain types of men who act in the ways that you're used to getting treated. Negatively, dismissively, indifferently. You wonder why you always chase the emotionally unavailable. It's because you've trained and reaffirmed in yourself a level of trauma that was given to you when you were younger. You've perpetuated the same trauma in your own decisions. You've made them culture. You've made them your programming. I'm not blaming you for being traumatized. I'm not blaming you for being abused. I'm not blaming you for being manipulated by men. I'm blaming you for accepting it over and over again and then seeking it out when it was gone. In new people, in new ways. That's your fault. Unfortunately enough, some people are all talk when they're being abused, when they're being mistreated, when they're being dismissed by their partners. They'll say, I'm going to leave. I'm going to walk away. I'm tired of this. You're going to see. But they never do anything about it. They just keep taking the abuse until it's conditioned in their minds that that's what they deserve. Most of the damage that you receive in an abusive relationship, regardless of the type of abuse, happens after the point that you should have already walked away. It happens with your consent and your participation. To be injured is one thing, but to be traumatized is often a long-term process. To be damaged is often a long-term process. You had to stay to get damaged. You might have been injured, you would have healed, but you had to stay and remain to be damaged. You had to sit in place. You had to stand where you are. You had to be loyal to the potential that you saw in that relationship while not being realistic about what reality was. 90% of trauma can be avoided if women just start walking away when it's necessary, when it's appropriate. Again, this isn't to blame women for the trauma they incur from toxic human beings or partners, but to remind you of the power and the dominion you have over your life to experience goodness and greatness, to have joy and peace and fulfillment in your relationships. You decide what you accept from people. They might be able to try it once. They might try it twice. But if it becomes lifestyle, that was you choosing to allow that to happen. You've also traumatized and abused yourself in the choices you've made and the loyalties you've placed in other people and not with yourself. So again, don't talk about it. Be about it. You are what you do, not what you say you will do. So if you're dealing with a man and you've said, I will leave, I need to leave, maybe I should leave, and you're not leaving, you're not a woman with standards. You're a woman who wishes she had standards. There's a difference. So anyway, I hope this helps. I just wanted to remind some of you of the power that you have in your own relationships to create a good experience or to get away from a bad experience. We forget the power and dominion we have sometimes. Anyway, I would say follow me at KidFig24 on Instagram, but I haven't really been on Instagram lately. I've kind of taken a social media break. But you can go to my website if you need coaching, girltalkwithguys.com. Also, don't forget to check out the sponsor, Aura, if you're interested in identity theft protection or at least trying the 2-week free trial to see if you like it. Everyone I know who's tried it really loves it. My mom's not even that tech savvy and she really likes it. So click the link down below if you're interested. I'll get with y'all later.